So you're close to wrapping up one of your interior design projects and you're ready to start thinking about professional photography for it. That way you can capture all of that hard work and the beauty of that space and not let it just pass by as another project that you forgot to take pictures of. What's going to help you do that? We're going to cover 3 things today to help you to have a great interiors shoot. Let's get into it. So number 1, decluttering the space. Now, of course, you just finished this beautiful space, so there may not really be a lot of clutter that happens, but it ultimately depends on when you have scheduled your shoot. Ultimately, you're doing these projects, unless you're doing a personal project in your own home, you're doing these projects for clients. So naturally, they're going to get their things back in there. They're going to get their spice cabinet filled. They're going to get their knickknacks back on the counter that they love. They're going to have that one appliance that they like to have on their counter, an air fryer. But you want to, on the day of the shoot or the day before the shoot leading up to it, you want to declutter that space to make sure there's not a lot of unnecessary visual elements into the picture that will ultimately take away from the design. And these pictures are not for the client, they are for you. So you want to make sure that the things featured in there will ultimately represent what you are trying to showcase. So the next thing we want to do is we want to style the space. Now, styling the space, we want to go into it with a less is more attitude. We don't want to add too many items, but we want to just add things that really bring a specific element to the space or just completes the photo. So for example, maybe you have this beautiful wood table, but maybe the table by itself looks a little bare. So you might want to just add a just simple bowl of fruit to the table, or maybe a succulent or some type of plant, just anything that can just add just a little bit of a touch to really help that table to have a little bit of a visual appealing element to it. It can be as simple as a coffee cup. It doesn't need to be a whole lot, but just a little something and just a little touch that can complete the space. Now, you can also think about too, when it comes to styling things within your own brand. So let's just say that you have like a signature item that you like to place in all of your images, that maybe you want to start doing that, and maybe it's like, say, like an orange Dutch oven, and you just want to just kind of just have that Dutch oven in every shot, or it's like some other type of thing that's unique to you and your style, or just some other touch that's unique to your brand. Maybe you love pink and you just want to have a pink coffee pot in your photos and you want to just place it in there. You can think about that too, but as long as it complements the space and it will not detract from the photo. But you can leave a little bit of elements in there and you can make it a fun game if it's going to be on social media to help people, to make it a little game that maybe they need to find that one item that you like to place into all your shoots, kind of like your calling card. But again, less is more. We don't want to go overboard with it. And finally, number 3, purpose. If you watch some of my other videos, I'm really big on this. I'm really big on what is the purpose of the image. I talk about this in branding, and the same thing applies to interior photography. What is the purpose of these images? Because that's going to determine the types of shots that we take, how much time we're spending on those shots, the way that we edit those shots, and just the overall just look and feel of the final images. So if we know that you are trying to submit these photos for an award and you just need, say, the submission requires 4 photographs from these specific angles, you want to make sure that we go into knowing about those 4 very specific angles that we need to get, and they need to be polished and top tier to make sure that they shine in your award submissions. And so we may spend a lot of time on site. We may spend 2-3 hours really perfecting just getting those 4 images for your award submission. And then as time allows, maybe a few other shots that we can get, but the primary focus is those 4 images for your submission. But now, flip side, say you're just trying to get some content for your social media and they just need to look good, they need to look polished, but you need more of a variety as opposed to these very finely detailed images for the editing. So we're spending a lot of time, or instead of a lot of time on one specific image, we're just spending a lot of time throughout the space capturing as much as we can get so that they can be used on social media or for your blog or put into your website to make sure that you can highlight that space. And then if you know that you want to put these images, say, in your stories, and maybe you want to have like a highlight of some of your best projects in your highlight bubble of the stories, then we know that we need to get some vertical images. Now let's say you just finished a real show-stopping project and you're like, this is the one I want for my website. I want it on my home page, a big wide shot of this beautiful primary bedroom that I just finished, or this beautiful kitchen if you're a kitchen and bath designer, and that's the first thing you want people to see in that beautiful kitchen. Then we know that we need to get that hero shot for your website going into the shoot. And again, similar to a design submit or an award submission, we may spend a lot of time perfecting just that one key image that you want people to see as soon as they enter into your website. So whatever the case, think about the purpose of the images. Where will they end up? Are they going to end up in print? Is it an editorial piece? Is it an award submission? Are you putting it in a flyer? Is it going on your website? Is it social media exclusively? That is going to dictate how much time we spend on the photos to compose the images, what types of shots that we're going to get, how many shots we're going to get. And then one final thought that's going to lead us into the overall look and feel of the images. If you know that for your brand that you want stunningly bright images that makes people go wow as soon as they see it, and that's what you want your brand to be about, is these really bright, beautiful spaces, then we're going to light the space and edit the images in a way that is really bright and airy and vibrant. But if your brand is more moody and mellow and toned down, and you want people to feel, say, a sense of emotion when they look at your images, you want people to slow down when they see your images, then we're going to light the space in a much more calmer way. We're not going to make sure that every inch of the frame is super bright and clear. No, we're going to be focusing more on the shadows that fall into the space. We're going to be focusing more on, say, the natural light that comes into the window, as opposed to pumping out giant flashes of light to fill the entire spaces of light. When we edit it, it's going to be soft and muted and neutral color tones, as opposed to very bright and saturated tones. So that's going to help your photographer out. When we know ahead of time your brand, how these images are going to be used, what the end result that you want them to look for, that's going to help the overall flow of the shoot just run smoothly. You're going to be happier because you are going to know ahead of time what your vision is and how you want it to be conveyed. So those are some tips to help you to prepare for your next interiors photography shoot. And if you're in the Metro Detroit area and you're thinking about having one of your projects photographed, I would love an opportunity to work with you. Feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I'll catch you on the next video. Have a good one.